So here's an entertaining one about another gal that tries to use HR for power, but ultimately goes too far and gets herself fired. And her former manager, who she made crazy, he gets to have the last laugh. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget, be sure to, if you're on X, formerly Twitter, check me out. My handle is SSM Channels. Definitely growing an audience over there, trying to help market the channels here. Check it out. It's titled, I Quit. Karen reported me to HR for it. And a shout out to Barry for sending this short story. He says, I was the director of sales ops for a $40 million a year software company. Karen, interesting choice of names here, was on my team. We process purchase orders. Karen had a small vehicle accident that put her in a neck brace. She also needed once weekly physical therapy appointments and had some restrictions on duties, all of which I accommodated, no issue. Despite meeting her needs, Karen decided coming to work was optional. HR noticed that she was repeatedly absent from work 3 to 4 days at a time, multiple weeks in a row. So one of those. I'm sure everybody out there has one individual, guy or gal in the office, that tries to milk things like it for everything it's worth. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about here. Well, HR did not give me details, but told me documentation from her doctor did not justify all these absences. To make matters worse, Karen would never give notice that she was going to be out, and sometimes would just not show up without ever calling, nor indicate how long she would be out. See, right there, that person instantly should be fired. But you can't do it because you know what's going to happen. HR eventually told Karen she needed to either attend work more often or get a doctor to sign off on short-term disability. This worked for me. I would rather Karen take extended time off so I could get a temp to take her responsibilities than be absent frequently with no warning. Karen's original doctor would not document a need for disability, so she found a doctor who would. Of course she did. She probably paid the doctor. She bragged to the team that she found a doctor that would sign off on anything. Well, that's stupid. So Karen went on disability, and I was able to get a temp to cover her until she returned. Even though coworkers who kept in contact told me Karen was going to clubs and dancing and such, I didn't care. That was between her and HR. For now, at least, the work was getting done. Dancing, I'm assuming she doesn't have her neck brace when she's dancing at the club. This time period of Karen's short-term disability eventually expired. At this point, she either had come back to work or had to go on long-term disability so I could replace her permanently. Karen's sign anything doctor would not give her documentation for a long-term disability, so Karen grudgingly came back to work. Well, I'm sure she was pleasant to be around. She quickly went back to being absent all the time. She also refused to do even the basic duties of her job. I went to HR and told them things were not working out and that I wanted to replace her, and they were on board with this plan. Until, he says, HR brought Karen in for the talk, but Karen flipped out and said she would sue. There you go. Remember, this is a place of business, and somebody worked their tail off to create this company and risk their credit, risk their wealth, risk their reputation, and this stupid crap with employees is just unreal. Well, suddenly HR was not on board. Didn't matter that Karen really had no legal standing, just the threat of a lawsuit made HR decide it was more important to make Karen happy than let her have a functional ops department. That is insane to me. I mean, I'm sure they have an in-house counsel, or they have some lawyer or law firm on retainer, and it's far better to do a settlement if it came to that, and get rid of this person than let everybody know that she's on the job and can keep doing what she's doing, killing morale, you know what I mean? It says, in one instance, I asked Karen to do purchase order review, and she complained to HR about me being bossy. Bossing her around, that's her job, you're her boss. HR told me that I could no longer give her assignments or work duties to Karen. What the fuck? When I said that's fine, as long as they let me hire someone else to do Karen's job, they refused to give me a requirement for a new employee. So he came and tell her what to do. And she doesn't have to do any. She literally has to just show up, or really not show up at all. As long as she doesn't sue, they're not going to do anything. What does it say to all the other employees? Think about it. This went on for months, and Karen quickly learned she could complain to HR about anything and get her way. You would not believe the accommodations she was given. Meanwhile, she made no effort to hide that she was not really injured anymore, was barely coming to work, but also getting paid. She even encouraged other team members to take advantage of this loophole that she had found. There you go. Knew that was coming. This is exactly why they should have called her bluff. Fine, sue us. Use your in-house counsel. That in-house counsel there is there for a reason, or the law firm you have a retainer is there for a reason. You got to send a message every once in a while. Yeah, they shouldn't have to spend the freaking money in the inevitable settlement and legal fees, but you know what? They got to show they're not going to tolerate this shit. That one day during a month-end crunch, Karen had not come in or called. So I called and asked her if she planned to work that day. It was a simple question, carefully crafted to be neutral in tone. She told HR that I had harassed her with my phone call. Oh, for God's sakes. So I got written up. So I immediately put my 2 weeks notice in. Good for you, dude. This company is a sinking ship the way they're handling things. And I bet you the owners of that company have no idea the way HR is handling the situation. He's getting written up, and the HR knows she's a problem. I'm not going to deal with my career being fucked up by a woman who had worked maybe 6 days in a month, especially when I gave 60 to 70 hours a week to the company. With me suddenly gone, the sales ops fell apart. Purchase orders were not going through. To address this emergency, a company senior VP took over sales ops until my replacement could be found. HR was certainly not going to tell this guy that he could not give Karen's duties, so Karen actually had to work. See what happens when you bring one of the big shots downstairs for this job? About a month after I quit, Karen got my home phone number and called me, furious that she now actually had to work. She's harassing you. She told me she was going to report me to HR for a company I no longer work for. She's going to report you to HR for the company no longer... What the fuck? She's mental. And sure enough, she did exactly that. I kept in touch with members of my old team, and they told me she was laughed out of the HR office. But here's where it gets absurd. Oh, this hasn't been absurd yet? Karen called me again, cursing, screaming, and threatening me, and demanded I give her the contact information for HR at my new company. Are you freaking kidding me? Apparently not. She was going to report me to a department that had no idea who she was, nor had any jurisdiction over her complaints. The stupidity was unbelievable, and I giggled at her right up until I hung up the phone and blocked her. The last I heard, Karen was finally fired, got 0 unemployment benefits, and ended up moving her and the kids in with her mom. Holy crap. Anyhow, there you go about the HR, how it's abused, all that type of thing. I'm glad he got out of there, but frankly, the people in charge of the company, or the top people, they obviously had no idea how HR was handling things. HR should have been those people should have been canned. Look at this guy obviously was a good employee, loyal, and he was chased out of there because of the way they're handling things. And who stayed? Crazy Karen, until a senior VP came down and said this shit ain't gonna fly. But that is an example of corporate America, which we're in, how that is abused. And I've been told stories from friends of mine how they have had coworkers kind of like this that don't get fired because they're so afraid of a lawsuit, the company, or other things like that, or they don't want to pay the unemployment, stuff like this. Like, are you kidding me? You're killing the morale of employees, and you're going to lose good people to assholes like this. But no, a lot of these people don't look at the big picture here, But anyhow, yeah, she complains to HR. He leaves and quits, and she's going to freaking contact him and complain to his HR. Yeah, good luck there. She's nuts. But anyhow, I thought this would be a pretty good one to cover here.